This is the full electric 308, the E-308. And we're going to review this in a little bit of a different style, because what we're going to do is just concentrate on the estate version. And that's not because the hatch is wildly different, it's because the hatch has so much competition that when you look at it, and we'll explain what we mean throughout this video, it's kind of in the middle, it's lost in the wilderness. There's cars that are more efficient, quicker, more practical, better value. So it's just another option, a good looking option, but there's so many other choices, would probably pick them. In estate world though, in electric cars, there's very few options. So this shines a lot more brightly. It's a lot better if you think of it purely as an estate. So that's what we're going to look at it as. And for £1,000 extra for the estate over the hatch, it's worth every penny. Now, before we go through its merits, let's have a look around it, and then we'll go inside and have a look around the interior to see how it matches to the other stuff on the market and, of course, other Stellantis cars. This, for me, is the best looking one. Peugeot, for the last few years, have just got it right. You've got actual style. Not everyone will like it, of course, but look at the grille. Normally with cars, you'd have a few bits of plastic going from left to right. It's just design thought. It's got very Peugeot-ness. I'm going to use that one, where it's classless, and that's very hard to achieve. Expensive house, cheap house, it would fit on anybody's driveway. The way that the lights are kind of slightly recessed and they do a little bit of a dance, as most cars do these days when you turn them on. It isn't a ground-up EV, it comes in all three forms, the first Peugeot to do so. Petrol, hybrid, electric, but there's a big bonnet there. So like the Astra, I'm expecting we're going to lose a bit of interior space due to that not ground-up EV-ness. Now, if you watch the channel, you'll know that due to my age, I prefer an estate to a hatchback, and especially to an SUV. And this has got proper estate proportions. I'm only little, look at my legs, but even I can reach and clean the top of the car. It's a good size. It's what cars used to be, rather than these mammoths that are this tall and really wide. No chrome, no tacky bits. It's got a bit of style to it. I like it. God's sake, it does have that annoying habit of locking and unlocking every time you walk past it. The rear entry is average in terms of getting car seats in and out, because it is, let's face it, it's a family sort of car. Nice to see some decent tyres as well, more Michelins. And look at this crease. Comes from the lights, goes in and then disappears, and then comes back again and meets the other lights at the back. So there's only so much you can do with what is typically a flat-backed car, but they've actually achieved some element of design here. You've got a bit of a spoiler. This lip that comes out with the Peugeot badge just tucked underneath. This big recess is a bit strange. I'm not sure about that one, because it gives you a large load lip into the boot, and I have to call Peugeot out on this design decision. What on earth are you doing on this full electric car with these sort of fake exhausts? What's going on here? Now, of course, it is an estate, so the boot's an ever important part of that. It's in the usual place, unfortunately, is the button, so you're going to get filthy fingers when you go in the back, but it's a good size. A little bit smaller than the Astra estate, but bigger than the MG5. Nice and flat entry. It's just this lip's quite large. Other than that, again, very usable. There are bigger cars out there, of course, in terms of boot space and whatnot, but in terms of this class, the price brackets, all that, this is more than acceptable. Okay, we'll start off with what is a small steering wheel. So this is a new modern Peugeot thing. You don't look through the steering wheel, you have to look over it. So some people may find that getting this into position, and it's fully adjustable, as is the seat, it can be a bit of an odd one. So I would suggest you sit in a Peugeot and just see if it works for you. Other than that though, the steering wheel feels okay. It's not premium, but it's not cheap either. And you've got some decent sort of feeling buttons as well. The door cards, ooh, that's kind of soft. That's like an Alcantara effect. Soft again, soft. Oh, that's a bit hard. Leatherette, average switchgear from Stellantis Group, and a reasonable door bin. You'll notice here we have a rather nice display, and it's not just your display that you will get on a lot of cars these days that just shows you your speedometer. If you press this here, it cycles through various options, which essentially means you've got a full virtual cockpit, which is exactly what you should have from any modern car, in my opinion. So this I really do like. So you've got this big screen here and some, it's touchscreen, but they're very big touchscreen buttons, so you can easily get to them as a driver when you're not taking your eyes off the road. So I don't mind that too much, and this is okay. It's reasonably quick. It just takes a bit of getting used to in terms of where things are, and of course the CarPlay takes care of most things. You have buttons as well, so if I press that, it goes to the functions for turning lane keep assist and various other things off. And you've got climate control as well as a few other buttons like demisters and turning it off. Moving to the center console, unfortunately you do have a lot of dead space down here, and it's kind of hardware in plastic because it is of course not a ground up EV, but this feels a lot nicer. It's like a metallic sort of plastic affair. It feels upmarket. I do like that. And you've got the usual switch gear for drive and reverse, and that's your B mode as well, which is okay. More on that later. You can put your phone there, but it wirelessly charges up here, and you've got an USB slot, 12 volt, a bit of close storage essentially, and cup holders as well, which you can close off if you wish. Back here you've got a space for what I assume is for keys and various other things, and a bit of storage as well, but that only goes that far down. It's not very deep, which means again anything below there all the way down is just essentially lost space due to the fact that they're having to accommodate a petrol engine. And the glove box is
look at this glorious space.
Full width.
It is.
Harry, that's quite a big one.
Well, I've been told that.
What do you think of the dash around there? I mean,
It's really
I quite
nice,
like
yeah,
the way it curves inside.
Yeah. It's nice material as well. It's rubberised. Nice bit of leatherette there with some stitching.
So they've actually made it more upmarket.
It feels premium, doesn't it?
It does feel, yeah, I won't say it's luxury level.
Not luxury, but it feels premium for the price it's at. Yeah,
this is the GT spec, we should point out.
Bit of effort gone into these, hasn't there?
Yeah.
I do like that. Yeah,
Comfier
nice.
than the Astra, which had all the adjustments.
Yeah.
Now, as you can see, no panoramic sunroof, and I don't believe it's an option either. Which means that this, if you look at it, it's quite a dark affair. In a weird way, it sort of suits the car. But for me, I do like a car, especially after the Renault Scenic recently. I'll put a picture of that now.
Yeah.
It makes such a difference to a car's interior. Now, in this estate, we've seen the boot, and that's pretty decent. But the rear doesn't look massive to me.
It's not massive, no. It's all right.
Yeah.
I think with some adjustment on the seat, because I've got my seat quite laid back at the moment just for filming, I think you'd have a bit more space, but I wouldn't want to be much taller than me.
No, so it's two adults.
Two teenagers.
And of course, you've got the massive hump from the, again, the compromised chassis that we're having to deal with here from the group. Now, because we've had the Scenic recently, I've been in that most of the week, you've been in this most of the week, and we've swapped, but essentially you've done most of this. What are your thoughts on this, the fact that you have to go over the steering wheel? Have you managed to find a decent position? Because
I found a really good...
It's okay, but I'm having to adjust it quite a bit.
I'm guessing you might have problems if you're sharing the car with somebody and you've got to move your seat up and down into another position.
Well, yeah, we've just swapped and I'm having to move this up and down a little bit. So the fact that it doesn't go back into your normal position and the fact
there's
that
no memory seats, is there?
It's a manual move. I mean, it goes up and down. It's electric, apart from going backwards and forwards. So over the last 360 miles, proof that we always properly test, although it doesn't beat my 890 miles on the Scenic, 3.9 miles per kilowatt hour.
Which I don't think's too bad.
I mean, the weather is what, 17 degrees?
It has been quite,
Yeah, so it's
mostly dry, mostly warm.
Reasonable weather. So let's go for same as the Astra, essentially. We're looking at 190 to 210 miles on average. You will get more than that in summer around town. You will get less than that on the motorway in winter. Of course, it's averages. Smack bang Stellantis group, essentially, effectively, because they're all using the same battery pretty much. And this only comes in the newer next generation battery version, which is good and surprisingly efficient. 100 kilowatt charging, of course.
Yeah, which is a bit of a...
It will do.
A thorn in its side, isn't it, really? It's not future-proof, is it, really?
I mean, in the Scenic, I did long journey. I got to 37 kilowatts, and it sustained that for quite a bit. It went to 90 for quite a bit higher than that. Yeah. And it's the curve, isn't it? So the curve's more important than the peak rate that we just mentioned, but I would like another 50 from the Stellantis group. And whilst I'm putting it into drive, again, paddles.
Paddles for B mode.
Or at least different B mode.
And also different, some adjustment on the B mode, because it is very puny, isn't it?
Yeah, I want one pedal driving because it's a software option. We say this time and time again. They've got a virtual cockpit because, well, we've got a display.
Let's do that.
The information is in the car. Let's display it, whatever you want. Why not with regen? Surely that's purely software.
Even just you could press the button 3 or 4 times and it toggles
yeah,
between
you don't have to be paddles.
Yeah.
Just like you say, B, B1, B2, B3, something like that. I like that interaction
Especially,
with the paddles.
I think, around here we've got so many steep hills.
Yes.
I find myself going down the hill having to use the brake as well, which just seems sort of alien in an electric car.
Let's put it into sport mode, of course, because it's the first thing you do as a man.
Well, that's it, yeah.
Now, 150 odd brake horsepower is not a lot, but for a family car, it's fine.
Yeah.
So, 30 miles an hour.
And it picks up again. So there we go.
50 odd.
Yeah.
Slow down to the corner. Again, they're quicker. The Megane, in fact, a lot of, Cupra Born, ID3s, 200 brake horsepower.
It's certainly not slow. Nah. It's enough, isn't it?
Compared to the 1.6 diesels that people trundle around in, and the petrols and whatnot, it will feel quicker than them. Is this as quiet as the Astra, which was a quiet car?
It is a very quiet car, isn't it?
It's nice. I like that.
I would say, yeah.
Peugeots have always been pretty good on that, haven't they? A car we both owned. In fact, it was literally the same car.
Same car.
It was one of the best handling cars.
Yeah.
And yet, it was one of the most comfortable. You remember there was like, this is witchcraft.
Yeah.
And that was a 306 GTI 6.
A cracking car.
And Peugeot have always been very good at the, what did they say on Grand Tour? The chef de suspension.
Yeah.
And they've always been very good at that, haven't they?
With a slightly larger battery, so if it had a 70, it would be a really good motorway car.
Yes, that is true. Now let's talk about the Astra Electric Estate, because it's underneath, it's literally the same
car,
thing, isn't it? Yeah. But, same ingredients, different chef.
Yeah.
And this one is definitely, well, it's like me making a meal or my mum making a meal.
Yeah.
It's like, I can never get it how I'm used to.
Exactly.
It's the same thing, and it's just a lot nicer. However, in reality, in terms of actual price rather than list price, you are paying £2,000 to £3,000 more for this than the Astra Electric is available for.
I do think that it is worth that premium, without a doubt. It's a lot nicer place to be.
And I think it will be worth a bit more at the end.
Yeah.
When you come to trade in or whatever, so you'll see a lot of that back.
I think if price is an issue for you, get the MG5. If it's coming down just to price only, get an MG5.
Yeah. If you want to save money, save money.
Yeah.
Because there's about a £9,000 difference between the MG5 in real prices anyway, not list prices, than this. So this starts at, I think it's 38.5 and goes up to 40 odd. Nah.
Forget that.
So I found this GT version for just over 30 grand.
Wow. I mean, at that price.
Now, again, 27 and a bit for the Astra Estate.
Yeah.
20
for the
MG5 Estate.
Again, I think for me, you go for the MG5 or you go for this.
Yes. So ultimately, the Astra's in the middle. It's lost.
Yeah.
The reason why we're not mentioning the hatchback is because of the competition.
Yeah, just
quite
frankly too much, isn't it?
Yeah, that are better in many ways. So let's start with the Stellantis group alone. Citroen EC4 over the hatchback of this.
Yeah.
I would go for that.
Yep.
The
Saves
Jeep.
yourself a lot of money.
Would you go for the Jeep? It's different. It's an SUV.
I'd probably go for the Jeep because it's a Jeep.
Yeah, I would probably, because the uniqueness of this for me, and the thing I like, is the estate.
It's the estate. Yeah, once you've got rid of that, then it's not really.
It's not special.
Yeah.
Astra, I would probably go for this.
Yes, I'd go for
even
it,
in hatchback
definitely.
form.
Yeah.
The Mocha and all that will leave. So other cars, Cupra Born, ID3.
I'd go for the Cupra Born.
Absolutely.
Yep. And the new ID3, the facelift.
Yep.
Definitely.
MG4, a lot cheaper.
A lot cheaper. Yep. So again, you could see,
we could keep going, couldn't we?
There's so many there that it just becomes white noise.
Unless you like the look of this.
Yeah, then I think that's a selling point.
And it's not a bad car, is it? I mean, it's comfortable. It's a very good-looking car for me. It ticks a lot of boxes. It's just they're probably cheaper, more practical, faster, more efficient,
etc.
Blah blah blah.
The trouble is now, though, is that the estate used to be, or the wagon, used to be quite a big thing when we were growing up, didn't it? Because you didn't have an SUV.
No, they've taken over.
And now the SUV's taken over where the estate left off.
And an SUV does work quite well in the right circumstances. We're not saying
people like that high ups, position, don't they?
There's a reason why it's selling a lot.
But if you don't want one of them, this is perfect. It's big enough to get all the family stuff in.
Yep, and I do like the fact that it is relatively low.
Yeah.
I'm sick of cars that you have to get a
like
step.
a van.
have to step up into it, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
What a great day. We've literally been complaining about summer, haven't we, for the last few months. We've just entered September.
And then look at it.
And it's not stopped raining.
No.
And I've just had a look on my Twitter feed. Goodwood Revival apparently is throwing it down. It's just a mud bath. So no one's getting out of that car park.
No.
So yeah, thanks weather. That's it now, we're done.
That's it, yeah. This is winter now.
This is it.
Do you know what? It is a very easy car to drive in. I know we say this quite often about EVs, but this one in particular.
I think most cars are these days, but there's some there's easy to drive for people who aren't bothered about cars, and then there's easy to drive, but it also gives you a bit of feedback.
Yeah.
That does give you some feedback,
Yeah.
I found. You know, it's not numb, but easy to drive at the same time. So you've been driving this for most of the week?
Yeah, yeah.
Decent amount of miles for
Yeah.
work? Where does... Yeah?
Perfect. Yeah. The fact it's an estate means that when I have had to carry something in, I've not had to mess about with trying to fit it into the boot.
Oh, yeah.
You just put it straight in there.
Quite the flat-ish bay as well. As
Just
it's
make
like,
life
yeah, well, you're carrying a big server in the back.
Yeah, yeah.
You just put it in,
Whack
don't you?
there. Yeah, yeah. Incredibly easy to live with.
And that is enough for a lot of people, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It's easy to drive, easy to live with. I like the look of it. There you go, I'm just going to buy that one.
Yeah, yeah.
If they did a Cupra Born estate, would you go for that with this?
I think I'd go for the Cooper Bond estate.
So it's the lack of estates that's making this appealing.
Yeah, the thing is, I think you're going for this vehicle because you need the extra boot space, but you don't want the extra platform. So you don't want to go for an ID4.
Yeah, big car,
It's
yeah.
a lot more money as well, but you need or you want that extra boot space for family stuff, push chairs, or maybe just for work. I think this will get missed out by a lot of people because they'll just want an SUV.
Yeah.
They'll look at the SUV, it's a taller car, it's probably got a smaller boot.
Like the MG ZS type, the Kia Niro.
Yeah.
Yeah, mockers of this world. I just think this is more of a driver's car.
Does it feel a
So
bit
is
more
that-
grown up?
Yes. Yeah, maybe that's what we're
The word
struggling
we're
to find. It is a more grown-up car.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because we have that, it's an older estate person's thing. But I do feel like I'm in a car that I am familiar with.
I can't see a young couple in their 20s with a kid buying this car. I think it's more aimed for people our age in the late 30s.
And it's probably quite... Got another challenge for you.
What's that?
What food is this?
Ooh,
You say that every time because it's quite difficult, isn't it, usually?
it is.
Sometimes you know instantly, but this
Yeah,
one...
this one I don't know. Do you know what it is? A potato can be cooked in many different ways, can't it? And essentially that's what Stellantis have got. They've got a potato, Vauxhall cooked it one way, Peugeot cooked it another way.
Yeah, you've got mash and chips and...
Yeah. I think this
Oil.
is just slightly
This is the highest end potato.
the high-end potato.
Pommes frites.
Yeah.
I know. I've got it.
What's that?
Triple cut chips
That's what this is.
and sea salt.
Or sea salt. Oh, yeah. Nice, decent salt.
Yeah. So is this the antidote to an SUV?
I think it is.
That's the title.
An antidote to the
SUV. Now, I want to carry on talking about this.
But I
'cause
can't.
know you're really desperate for the toilet.
Why is it the closer you get to home, the more you need to go?
If other cars did estate versions, Cupra Born,
Oh, yeah.
it would then drop down the list. So this is more of a... I mean, it's a good car, and I like
Yeah.
the style, I like the comfort,
It's a small pond.
Yeah, it is. That's partly why it's so elevated up there.
Yeah.
But I do like the way it drives.
It does
and
drive.
feels.
Yeah, I mean, it does drive really well, doesn't it? We keep saying this, but it's there's just something there, isn't there? You feel it's direct. You feel a bit of a connection between it.
Communicative.
Yeah, I think that's a good word. For me, they've just done what Vauxhall either couldn't be bothered to do or were told not to do.
Well, yeah, the fact that there's such a 2-3 grand price difference, I think is very deliberate.
Yeah.
Again, not in list in real terms, because if this was the same price as the Astra, it would be a no contest.
Oh no, yeah.
None at all. So, yeah, well, the one thing that isn't cheaper, but is better in all way, of course.
I think I know. The membership.
Membership.
Yeah.
99p.
You can't go wrong with membership, can you?
Especially for the free members-only videos.
So I've started a amateur autopsy group. I've joined one. Friday it's open mic night. That's the worst joke.
Oh,
Right then.
I think we've got enough.
Yeah.
Are we there?
Shove that up back seat if you want. Whoa.
What happened there?
I don't know. Chat kill you.
Did it try and decapitate me? What? I mean,
it's French guillotine.
guillotine. It's a French guillotine. I mean, where's the pocket? No, it's in my back pocket. That hasn't pressed that.
That just looks raunchy now.